Here's the article from New York Post. Sex workers complain sales are down as inflation continues to pound the economy.
Yep.
Can you show up New York Post logo at the top so they can see it? So that's from New York Post. How long ago is that, by the way?
That was an inflation report in third quarter.
Wow.
And it's getting even worse. So inflation has been pounding the economy, and sex workers are saying it's more expensive for them as well.
Let me go into the inflation story here. So high inflation is costing Americans an extra $1,000 a month, an extra $1,000 a month. This is from Fox Business. Americans are facing significant financial strain due to high inflation, with households needing to pay an extra $227 a month compared to a year ago, totaling $1,069 more than 3 years ago. Before an inflation crisis began, according to Moody's Analytics chief economist Mark Zandi, the consumer price index rose by 0.4% in March compared to the previous month, with price climbing to 3.5%. From the same time last year, significantly above the 3.2% figure ahead in February, exacerbating financial pressures on households, especially low-income earners. Housing and gasoline costs were primary drivers of inflation in March, with rents up 5.7% from previous year and gasoline prices up 1.7% during the month. Food prices also saw a 0.1 increase, contributing to a 1.2% rise from previous year and a staggering 21% increase since January of 2021. Since Biden's been president. Wow. So that means if you were making $100,000 a year in 2021, you need to make $121,000 a year to be able to maintain the same exact lifestyle just in that period, which is 3 years. Tom, thoughts on this?
Well, first of all, let me do some math. Let's do fun with math again, but this is no fun for the consumer. $1,069, I did the calculation, in most U.S. states, leaving out New York and California, because this would be even worse, is $12,500 pre-tax. So you need $12,500 more.
That's right. Good point.
So 3 years ago to now, you would need $12,500 a year, and then you do tax on it, it's almost $15,000. So that means if you didn't get a $15,000 raise, that after taxes is just $12,500, so you can have that $1,069 a month, then you are behind. So all the headlines about, oh, the stock market's up, Magnificent Seven, S&P, oh, this is good, inflation's down. The long-term effect on people has been catastrophic. And if you're going to read the headlines and make your decision when you go in the voting booth, you need to take a look at the cumulative impact of the Bidenomics to you and ask yourself, what do I want? And the cumulative impact around the world. But right now, this inflation, this is real. And recently, they were having headlines. People saw PPI. You know what PPI is, ladies and gentlemen? I saw that headline was on Yahoo News, as everybody knows. It stands for Producer Price Index. So let's just think, Producer Price Index. Producers are people that make things, like Nike that makes shoes. And so what do they pay more for all of the fabric and everything that goes into a shoe and the cardboard box? That is the inflation hitting them. When producer prices go up, you can set your watch for 90 days later, those products go up. And so basically, inflation continues to go up. So Americans are looking for second jobs, looking for hustles, side hustles, and are looking for ever more ways to see if they can trim the budget or save a few bucks or find lower cost alternatives in an economy that is biting them hard.
Adam.
Biting them hard. There you go, Tom. Well, you teed it up with sort of the pounding of the economy and the strippers and all that. There's actually some truth to that story. I know we're kind of joking, but some may say that it's not economists who know what's going to happen in the economy. It is actually the sex workers and the strippers, because they are the boots on the ground, so to speak, of what is known as discretionary income. If you have extra money in your pocket, you might go spend a little bit more at the gentleman's club or at the library. At Shaq and Dylan like to hang out. That's right. Great callback there. Comedy right there. But that is true that strippers sort of are economic indicators of discretionary spending. What I will say about the Biden administration at this point is one could say that inflation is not cooling down, but wars are certainly heating up. But it's not just immune to what's going on in America.
What are we going to see with this article? I'm actually curious.
Yeah, well, if you look at the countries all around the world, the inflation is not just here in America. We know that that's sort of the obvious, but America actually has recovered pretty well based on the rest of the world here.
Adam, what am I seeing with this article?
Well, if Rob would scroll down, we'll probably see it. So here's some of the countries that are with the highest inflation at this point. Zimbabwe, I think it's like 500% ridiculous. Venezuela, Sudan, Turkey. But if you go down to the fuller list, you'll see where America stands in its place in the world. Rob, go up just a second so you can see what it is. Top 10 countries with the lowest inflation rates at this point. So America, if you believe the numbers, is sitting at 3.7%. Okay, compared to the rest of the world. Here's China, somehow not even at 0%. Can't believe the data that comes out of China. But yes, there's a lot of people that are feeling the price of inflation in America today.
I feel like I just had a flashback to a week and a half ago. The cumulative inflation rate over the last 3 years is killing the American middle class. And you can look at it right now and say, is it good that inflation is down? Well, it's good that it's down, but it's not as low as it needs to be. And the cumulative effect over 3 years is pretty bad. And so that's what this article was talking about, Adam. Mm-hmm. You know, people, save that money. You need more money to save the money, and these poor people are now $1,100 a month, a freaking month, $15,000 a year before taxes, worse off than they were, 3 years ago. That's pretty harsh. So it's good to look out there and say, wow, you know what? The inflation rate is down when I'm eating ramen noodles, and I've got major U.S. companies suggesting I have cereal for freaking dinner.
Well, here's the question, I guess, and this is genuine.
Did we talk about my tweet at Mark Cuban or no? I don't think we have, right? Because it just happened. Can you pull up Twitter and go to the tweet from Mark Cuban?
I loved this tweet.
Can you go up? Bill Ackman says, go a little lower, Rob, because this kind of goes with what you're talking about here. Go a little lower. I think you'll see when it comes up to Mark Cuban, it should be somewhere around here. Maybe you crossed it, Rob. Maybe you did not. I don't know. It's right there. Is it Mark Cuban? Yeah. So first go to his tweet, okay, and let me read. Oh, okay, there it is. So Bill Ackman says, show the whole thing so I can read. Oh, it's fine. It's fine the way it is. Mm-hmm. Student loan forgiveness sounds great for borrowers overburdened with high interest rate debt that they cannot repay. The problem is that the subsidy appears to be principally to more affluent families at the cost of burdening those who didn't attend college or whose parents saved to send their kids to schools. It should be illegal for a president to buy votes by transferring funds from certain citizens to others he believes are more likely to support him in an election. He's 100% right. Now look at what Mark Cuban says. Like Trump has used tax cuts for folks like you and me, Mark Cuban. Then here's my response to him. Really? Under Biden, the rich got richer and the poor got poor. The wealth of the top 1%, you, just hit a record $44 trillion. His policies have been great for billionaires like you. That's Biden. Trump's policies help both billionaires like you and middle America. If anyone knows this, it's you. So there's a difference between you're talking about inflation isn't as bad as some people think it is. You know who's feeling it? Middle America is getting destroyed in America today due to pathetic policies that we have. So if you can sit there, I think it was 2 months ago when he started talking about the fact that Biden needs to talk about how great the economy is and how great the economy is. If this was Trump, he would be off the... And the moment you started saying that, it looks like Biden's economy took a hit. Can you show what the market has done in the last week or 2 weeks? Just go to S&P 500 the last 2 weeks. S&P 500 the last 2 weeks. What happened, Tom?
I want to point out that the nice Mr. Cuban, you are correct. The rich got richer. You pay taxes this year.
$288 million.
Correct. That means,
6 months,
what did he earn last year in net gain, unrealized net gain, not just stuff he owns?
What's that?
Over $1 billion.
Okay.
To pay 28%. So the rich did get richer. And this guy is talking about this while he easily and conveniently pays over $250 million in taxes.
Right. Go to Dow, Rob, just to see what happened with Dow.
Well, the Dow was, I think it was at 39, 539.
Yeah.
It was about to hit 40,000. It was about to be the biggest thing ever.
1 month.
Now it's at close to 37, 38.
It hit 39.8, and it's now at 37.38.
Which is great.
Yeah, in the last 2 weeks. It's gone down.
It's been rough.
But the reason why it's rough is it's because they can't move that number with inflation. They keep talking about unemployment, and the unemployment numbers, Rob, did Brandon send you the updated numbers on unemployment, the ones that, the real numbers of unemployment? If we have that data, if you can pull it up. The unemployment numbers that we hear about are a couple different things. I don't know if it's that one or the other one, Rob. If you can show me which one this is. Gallup's economic comments on summarize Americans' ratings of the current economic conditions, whether the economy is greater, better, or worse. This is what? Minus 26%. Go back to the other one, and under Trump it was higher. There was another one, Rob, that I wanted to see if you can pull up. This is how would you rate it coming? No, there's one that talks about what the real unemployment was. It's what I wanted Brandon to pull up. I don't know if he got it or not, the data. But the point is, we can sit there and talk about unemployment. It's a lot of they don't calculate people that don't want to go back into the workforce. And they calculate if a person has 3 jobs, they calculate it as 3 different people having a job. It's not 3 different people having a job. It's one person has 2 or 3 jobs. So people are desperately having to work multiple jobs to make ends meet today. And you know who feels that? Middle America does. You know who doesn't feel that? People that are doing okay financially. So the policies are finally hitting the people that are feeling it, and they're making noise. By the way, earlier, we asked the questions of who this Iran-Israel war is going to impact the most. Gas prices.
Yep.
If it goes to 5, again. If it goes to 6, again. If it hits the 7, 8, 9, 10 number over the next few months, you already know what's going to be happening if that takes place. And by the way, this is happening. Tom, how much oil are we right now going through right now in the States? How much oil are we personally producing right now being self-sustaining? Like,
I don't know the
Biden took
exact
a
amount.
page out of Trump's playbook.
Right. I don't know the exact amount that we're using per day. Rob can probably find that. But we do know this. If there is a major disruption, Biden trying to get the price of gas down, you talk about artificial intelligence. This was certainly not intelligent. It was whatever smarts he was using was certainly artificial. He drained the SPR, the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, which is reserved for war times and crises. So America's got energy at the time of crisis. And Biden flooded the market with it to put excess supply out there to bring the price of gas down for the sake of presidential approval ratings. Yes, that's what he did. And right now, what we're using per day, 20 million barrels, and we don't have a strategic petroleum reserve. So worldwide supplies get disrupted, or our own production gets impacted, Pat. Guess what happens to the price of a gallon of gas? It will hit $5 in less than a week.
Because
we're already in the 4s. We're already in the low 4s.
So
Let me read this. Oil prices are set to rise as market braces for Israel's response to Iran's missile and drone barrage. This is a CNBC story. U.S. crude oil futures were slightly lower Sunday as traders breathed a sigh of relief after Israel fended off a large-scale air assault in Iran. And U.S. emphasized it wants to avoid wider war. The West Texas Intermediate contracts for May lost 34 cents to 85.32 a barrel. Are you kidding me? Wow. That number used to be break even at 65. Now at 85, they're losing 34 cents. As trading began Sunday evening, June Brent futures slided to $90.18 a barrel. U.S. crude closed at 85.66 a barrel Friday, while the global benchmark settled at 90.45. Futures began the year around 71 earlier this year. Now they're at that number. Wow, that's pretty wild. So guess what, Middle America? Brace for impact. High gas prices are around the corner for you. Adam.
Well, look, gas prices are obviously a major part of people's expenses when it comes to their car. I always say there's the big 3 expenses that you have: your housing, your transportation, your food and beverage. But back to the larger conversation we're having about the economy, this is on multiple people. It's on, obviously, the administration, the president, Biden administration, and Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen. Some of this is on Jerome Powell. We've said that he's done a pretty good job, but I'm a fan of personal responsibility and personal finance. At what point is it up to the person to make better decisions with their life? I've been doing personal finance content for a decade. I've been in the financial world for 17 years. The common theme since I've been in this world since mid-2000s to now is 2/3 of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. So 100% I want to see inflation come down. We're at, 3.7%? CPI is a little bit higher. We'd love to see it down to 2%. We'd love to see it. But the reality is that most Americans need to focus on what's going on in their house, not on what's going on in the White House.
That is true. And you were always part of the personal responsibility community. Mm-hmm. But this is going to you talking about 6 weeks ago when you said if Trump was president today, he would be raving about the numbers of the economy today. Mm-hmm. Right afterwards, the economy took a massive hit because inflation isn't moving. And a lot of people, like right now, most of them I'm getting, or the consulting calls that we're doing, the mastermind calls that we're doing, most of the guys are talking about, Pat, I've been in transportation. I experienced 70% dip. I've been in a mortgage business. I experienced 80% dip. When is this thing going to turn around with interest rates? What's going to happen? okay? And even in the market right now, I made an offer on a building. The other day, guys like, well, what kind of an offer are you wanting to make on this building? Tom knows this. We made a $60 million offer. And I said, cash, we'll close in, whatever. He says, really? Yes. He says, send us the document. So why don't you send me your, net operating income? I was like, yeah, this is how much we're doing. Really? Send it to us. Well, if that's what you're doing, that's my offer. Well, first show me you got the cash. I send him the cash. Then he sends me back and he says, well, our net operating income was what, 40% less than what he quoted us.
That was the first conversation. Yeah, then the follow-up.
We got even lower and lower. Anyways, 40% less than what he quoted us. But you know why he was interested in talking to us?
Tell me
why do you think? Because anybody else that wants to make an offer at a number like that, guess what they're looking at? They're looking at interest rates.
Of course.
And who the hell wants to go get a $60 million loan right now at 8%, 7%, and the down payment 40%, 35%? It's a very different economy. So middle America's feeling it. Yes, it doesn't necessarily affect the people that made better choices because they have cash. But a lot of people right now are feeling the hit that's going on. And it's mainly the people that you and I don't want to be going through challenging times. Middle. We want middle, and middle is feeling it. Tom.
Exactly right. I mean, and you say, Rob, do you have the quick chart on oil? And Pat, take a look at this. This is what we're talking about. This is basically exactly. You could take and go back 1 year. Make it 1 year. Yeah, you see that? We're creeping back up to the peak that we had. And so when we drain the SPR, so you can look at the price of a barrel of oil and go to what Pat said earlier here in the podcast, and that is a forecast of where inflation is going to go, because all the things he talked about, from getting a plane ticket to go see your mom to the shipping costs of the truck that just dropped off all that stuff with Amazon Prime. And that's where it's going. And uncertainty in the Middle East, there was a sigh of relief that it didn't break into wide open conflict, but the price of oil is going back up. We had this peak was like at 93, and we're already into the high to mid 80s right now. What are we down today? Like 85? Yeah, right in the middle. 85, right in the middle.
I'm going to send this to you, Rob. If you can go to average gas prices in America today and go to that AAA website I just sent you, you'll see the one I just sent you. Just if you can type that in, average gas prices as of right now, as of 4/16, which is right now, is $3.64 nationwide, okay? So that's today, right now. However, if you can go a little lower, Rob, you'll see the red at the top. Zoom in a little bit on the map at the top. The red is people that are between $3.907 to $5.45. Look at West Coast.
Now, West Coast is getting crushed.
Look at Texas.
There's
look
always
at close to
$2
Texas.
California.
And then look at the pink where we are. But now go a little lower, Rob. It'll show you the national average. Click on regular. Can you go to the regular and just press on that arrow? Do it again. Okay, perfect. That's from regular. We're not even talking premium. Like right now, premium is $5.82 in California, guys.
Damn.
Diesel is $5.44 and regular is $5.46. Hawaii's $4.75. You got Washington, Nevada, Oregon, Alaska, Arizona, Illinois, Utah, Idaho, District of Columbia. Go all the way down. Let's see who's got the lowest. Go all the way down. Colorado, 3. Mississippi, Louisiana, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas, 320. You wonder why people are moving to those states? You know what kind of growth right now Texas is getting with people that are moving there? Let's see what Florida's at, by the way. I think Florida's at 390, 370. Go a little higher. Florida right there, 351. New York is also 350, which is not bad. California is, guys, by the way, New York against California. Look at what New York is right there, 353. Go look where California is at right now.
$5.47.
$2 more
of tax.
Of local tax, bro. It's tax that he's charging the people. Think about this. $2 more because he just chooses to do it. Any kind of creative gas tax. Can you tap in California gas tax? But the point, the moral of the story here is this. If this thing climbs the way it is, America is going to be very, very upset the next few months.
And they'll still keep voting for Democrats. Good job, guys.
It's very rare that I'm filling up a gas tank. Everyone knows I don't have a car, so I'm very rarely.
Yeah, you fill up Uber.
Remember? No, they're doing it. But you remember we went to California? We flew into Vegas, I want to say, and it was me, you, and Mario. And we drove from Vegas to LA overnight. That was the famous Mario. You looking at some bitch, Tony?
Yeah.
Right, okay. So I remember we had the SUV, we were driving it. And I was like, all right, hey Mario, I'm gonna borrow the car because I'm gonna go see a friend, whatever. I was driving the car.
Shit.
I was with Mario, but we went to the gas station, And this is in LA. So the average cost of price of gas in California was what, $5.50? Bro, $7 in LA at this gas station. I was like, is this what gas costs? Like, I don't know. I don't have a car. I've never. He goes, no, that's just here in LA. I was shell shocked.
Yep.
How people survive in LA with these prices. Ridiculous.
Yep. So again, if these numbers on inflation doesn't improve, and this war with Iran and Israel continues, and a NATO mess continues, and a division in America with Muslims, Christians, Jews, the riots, the protesting, the stabbing. By the way, one of the articles wrote the fact that the guy that stabbed him was due to the comments the bishop made on PBD podcast about his prophet. That's the comments. So imagine if more of that starts happening, and it starts happening in the States. Do you know how America's going to feel about it? They're going to be like, listen, man, pump the brakes. Download Connect. Ask questions of people. So many times people DM others on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter. You never hear anything back. The reason for it is because the other influencer and expert values their time. On Connect, you get to pay to get people to respond back to you. One of the things we put up on Connect app, which I love, you can go to any expert and see how quickly they respond, what percentage at a time, and you'll see some of the guys will be 100% within 1 day. Some of the people will be 70%, 3 days. On Connect, on average, 85% of the time, you get a response back from people because you're paying for them. And we just announced a Connect contest to come to South Florida and have dinner with us at the legendary Casa D'Angelo restaurant. On the house, we'll pay for it. And then afterwards, we'll go to our cigar lounge, have a bunch of cigars, conversations, poker, domino, and all the Connectors get to collaborate together. And simultaneously, we have a contest that we're running. Here's a contest. Lightweight experts, middleweight experts, heavyweight experts. You got a home team. Lightweight is anybody that's never downloaded the app before and they've never done a Connect before. Middleweight is anybody between 1 to 50. Heavyweight's going to be the ones that have done 51 plus Connects. We already listed out some of the names right now. Dustin, Calvin, and G, Dennis Panev, Ben Pappas, Chris Como. Home team, it's going to be us competing. Then new users. You're not an expert. You just have a lot of questions. Whoever asked the most questions, new signups versus those who are existing users. If you've never used it, you're competing in this category. If you have used it, you're competing in the other category. And every day this Leaders Bulletin updates. The top 3 get invited to come to Florida. You pay your flight, you pay your hotel. We take you out to dinner at Casa. Then we go to the cigar lounge together and spend a few hours to get a number 1 in each category. We'll sit at the head table with me, but top 3 will be invited. And we will most likely do a raffle for each category that will pull somebody out. And again, you'll be with myself, Adam, Vinny, Tom, our crew, and we'll show you around all the other things that we're doing as well. Cannot wait to see you guys there. That QR code on the top right shows the Leaders Bulletin on every day. It'll be updated to see where you rank. If you can go on the Leaders Bulletin, Rob, so people can see it. Every day you'll have an update on Connect's Leaders Bulletin to see who you're competing with, at what level. Again, go to the other QR code for them to download the app so they can get started. Go on Apple, Droid, download the app Connect. Start connecting today, and hopefully we'll get a chance to have dinner together. This contest starts today. April 16th, ends May 31st, and the dinner will be a date we'll send to the people that qualify in June. So looking forward to seeing you guys compete for this with Connect.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.